All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Replay of the Week. Today we're gonna have three replays, two from pubs, one from Onslaught for you guys that are looking to, get some advice on exactly how Onslaught works and our take on it. I also have Hockey and Frodo here with me today. I'm going to be evaluating this first replay, and then Hockey and Frodo will be taking the other two. The first one we have Incred here. I'm not sure if many of you guys know him. He is a streamer and a fellow Fines player. He is playing his 60 TP on Steps. He's got tier 8s on Assault. He's on the attacking side, which is a really, really nice matchup for him. One thing I would look at and instantly notice in this kind of matchup is, well, number one, there's no Artie. Number two, the enemy team does have a 4K. Always good to know when those are running around and, potentially hiding in a corner. And then the other team also has a double IS-7 platoon. IS-7 platoons tend to like to push out flanks very early and very quickly. So that's something you want to think about in terms of where the game's going to transition to a little later on, especially if you don't see them in the first minute or two on the normal flank. Then you can almost guarantee yourself that they're probably YOLOing the offside, or maybe on a map like Steps they're YOLOing up the middle or something like that, right? They like to do a lot of unorthodox things all the time. So Incred's going north here. Pretty standard decision. The North Brawl, you can get a lot of damage, especially in your big fat heavies, where you can take from hold down to hold down, side scrape the angles out, and then slowly break apart the enemy's defense. Incred has a shot on the BZ here. This guy just doesn't want to live, but the 60 TP gun says no. He might have let that. He could have let that aim just a half second longer, but that's okay. The 60 TP gun likes to troll. Sometimes it likes to just miracle hit stuff. But yeah, as you can see here, the double IS-7 from the other team, they have decided to opt out of coming to the heavy flank, but the enemy team still has quite a strong presence here. But with Incred being in a 60 TP, he is going to definitely have an advantage here, as there's not going to be any tier 10 heavies on this side, since the IS-7s are trying to push out the 9-0. So he pokes up here, hits a really, really nice shot on the Wheezy. I mean, a little bit of luck, but some great aim there to secure that shot. And now this is a nice situation for him to be in, even though there's a lot of enemies holding a lot of different angles. Obviously the 60 has a lot of armor, but he also has a lot of teammates holding angles down for him, so he can isolate the trades to force himself to just trade with one tank here. Like, the Paladin is kind of stuck behind this rock. If he pokes, he's gonna, get shot by a lot of different people. The Wheezy is kind of stuck in the lower ground, and these other two that are on his left can't necessarily really poke onto him as well without, the Tiger 2 or the BZ punishing him as well. It's really important whenever you're playing a flank where you not only have a lot of allies and a lot of enemies to think about where your position is and kind of what angles your teammates are covering, etc. So that way when you make a trade like this, you're only trading with one tank at a time, right? And obviously for the 60 TP, that's a great scenario to be in, because you have 750 alpha. Double barrel still has 390 alpha, which isn't nothing, but you definitely have a lot more. So Cred's looking for a shot here. Thought about shooting the BZ, but he was dying really quickly. He doesn't want to waste his 750 alpha. Tries to find the mouse's lower plate, or the Tiger mouse's lower plate, but he stops and he rocks at the perfect timing. Maybe some reaction speed things there, but a little unlucky as well. And now looking at the situation, the i7 still haven't quite pushed out the entire zero line. In credit, his team have done a good job breaking out the 1-2 here, picking up quite a few people. I'm pretty sure all 5 of these guys died on the 1-2 actually. So they picked up 5 tanks from the enemy team already, and now Incred's looking to pressure the middle here. Thought process here for me, I don't know if this is necessarily what I would do. Looking for a shot here, maybe he thought the T-54 was still going to be spotted heading towards the 9-0. But in this situation, you probably want to be pushing out either 1-2 or 8-9. And the reason for that is you either want to go back and support to kill the double IS-7 that's pushing, or you want to push out and kill all the stuff holding in the base, like all the mediums, all the TDs. He still has a lot of HP to work with, but he opts for pressuring through the middle, which is not terrible, but in this hesitation he has lost a lot of time on his rotation. He could already be like with the Conqueror overrunning the base and fighting like the CS, eventually the Batchat and even the 4K. This tank is pretty good against the 4K, because unless you give it its side, its front is a really hard to pen with its HE rounds. Even with AP, it's not the easiest pen in the world. You see Incred just trying to kind of find a shot right now. There's not that many people that are really exposed to him. He's poking a little further for a shot, but he can't quite find one. And then, as he's noticed now, is the 9-0 is also collapsing. So the I7s have finally cleaned up the other side, and now he's in the middle, and he needs to make a decision on who he's going to play against, because obviously if he stays directly in the middle, he doesn't want to get caught out and then crossfired by everybody. A good thing for him though is it seems his team, they haven't pushed out the entire south, but they've kind of won up to K5, K6, which is really important for them, because if there's anyone still sitting in like H4, they could easily repush Incred here, and then, the one thing about the 60 TP is, although it has a good alpha, it's a very long reload. So if you've got a lot of awkwardly like 2-shot tanks pushing you, it's really hard to actually kill them all. Since you got a 15-second reload, it's just you end up having to waste your alpha, and then you're just taking so many shots if they're dying. Cred shows some really nice aim on these two I7s. Another really nice snap on the first one. That one a good tracking shot. I mean, he low rolls, he should have killed him anyway. But the tracking shot means that his teammate's easily able to pick him up. And now this T-54 is quite clearly isolated, so he's going to go try and pick him up, so the T-54 can't run and be a thorn in his side or anything of that case. Nice shot there. For any of you wondering why the reload is like this, it's just a bug with intuition, in case any of you haven't seen it before. And then now Incred has a decision to make here. The enemy team is repushing his SCB and the BZ-176, and he's got to think about where he's going to go fight, because obviously in a situation, regardless of if the enemy team is going to win that 2v2 or not, it's not really a 2v2 because the 4K is covering, he's got to be thinking about where am I going to A, either get more damage, or B, if these guys die, he wants to start isolating guns, because he doesn't want to necessarily be, fighting against way too many guns at the same time, or at least bleed them down so that he can make people one shot, so he doesn't run into that situation where there's too many 2 shots, 3 shots running around, so they can just overwhelm you by just taking the hits. Really nice shot there. Same things we're talking about, makes the Sturb a one-shot. When enemy tanks are one-shots, it means that they're a lot more hesitant to poke, especially in pubs, right? You're not going to see players like taking hits for their team all the time, or it's very rare, because everybody, pubs is for your own self-benefit and getting as much damage as you can, no matter what the Lord says, pubs are all about win rate. And he gets another opportunity here, makes his shot count to make the T-54 one-shot as well. And even though the enemy team has 3,800 HP, this is looking very winnable, because a lot of the HP is on the 4005, and a lot of HP is on the bat, right? As scary as the 4K is, it's not that scary when it's just pushing you, for the most part. If you know where he's coming from, and Incred has a general idea of which way the 4K could be coming from right now, it's not going to be that worrying from him, especially because he's got a tank with good enough frontal armor to just kind of negate the 4K's ability to hit him for 1700, 1800. Another good rotation to catch out the Sturb. Really unlucky that he low rolls him there. If he high rolls him there, or just average rolls him there, then, he's a 1v2, and he doesn't have to worry about another gun. But some good pathing there to get out of the 4K sight. And he narrowly escapes getting minus 1800, which would almost definitely mean he had lost, because the Battach could then just push him, take the clip, and drive around him. Really nice HE shot there. Same thing as we were talking about, is making tanks, 2-shot or 1-shot. Now he can 1-shot the 4K with HE, which is really nice. A little bit of unawareness there. He lets the Sturb shoot him once for free. But he's trying to back up here to isolate the enemy team, so that way the Bat and the Sturb can't shoot him at the same time. And he does a really nice job there to focus the 4K out and completely 2-shot him, which is great. And now he's stuck in a 1v2. So the Bat's reloading, and the Sturb's coming around the front. Sturb does get the ammo rack on him. And here in this situation, you have to decide who you are going to fight. And the Bat makes that decision easy for him by just driving out sideways. And now they're both one-shots. Sturb is poking. 60 TP armor, very, very difficult for these tier 8s. And Incred manages to make him bounce a shot here. And now he's pushing to make the kill. He's running out of time, and he bounces the HE round. To be honest, I think in this situation, I mean, if he kills him, he probably still wins. It would be really close because, the bat is going to have 4 shells. I think it's 160 alpha. Is it 160 alpha, guys, or is it 180? 160?
170.
It's 170? Yeah, so Incred's like a 50-50 for the full backclip to kill him. I mean, you shouldn't be shooting HE in this scenario because of all the spaced armor on the Centurion's turret. But honestly, I think the better bet would have been to try and catch the bat. Because, yeah, the bat can 50-50 kill you, and, he's not going to bounce when he's just got your rear. Although, well, he does bounce one there. But the Serb manages to put a shot in. Pretty unlucky for Incred there. He doesn't quite get the win, but, a massive game, 9.8. Almost clutched up. Was it a 1v4? But that last decision at the end there, and the fact that he low rolled the Sturm means he doesn't pick this one up. But we saw some good decisions overall throughout that game. I think going through the middle was a little bit iffy and ended up working out. But the fact that he came back to here and was able to get the shot into the Sturm in the first place actually made it winnable for him. So that was a nice rotation to at least give himself a good chance. And then loading high explosive and catching the 4K out on those angles was also really nice because obviously if the 4K is able to take a shot and then just drive into you, shoot you once even for 500 and then all the tier rates start swarming you afterwards, then that's going to be just an almost impossible situation to win it. But congrats Incred for a very, very good game. I hope you appreciate our analysis. Let me know, Incred, what you were thinking in the situation as well. And aside from that, I think Hockey or Frodo are going to take over the next replay.
All right, so in this game, we're going to see Guo Emperor Ferret playing the 60 CP on Outpost. It's a pretty good tank selection for this map. You want HP, you want armor, and you want alpha because there are a lot of crosses that the enemy tanks make right at the start of the game. And if you can get a big shot into, it's a big help for your team. And I am joined here with Frodo_NA.
Hello. Oh, I am also in this game. Interesting.
Yeah, so we got triple threat here with Frodo, Hockey, and Ferret in this game, but we're going to be taking Ferret's POV because he does the most damage. Anyways, moving on. The light tank gets a good spot off, spots all 7 tanks. He sees that the majority of the enemy team is heading towards the north. Replans to confirm. And so we realize that the E50M is the only tank holding the south, so Ferret rotates back to the ridge there to potentially help his team, as his teammates are not making great decisions with their positioning.
Frodo, could you
There is an interesting BZ still going to the.
Yeah, could you talk us through your thought process of going to the mid there, Frodo?
Well, I wasn't going to the middle. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm to the left there. I'm not in the middle with the other 2 people that are just kind of dying.
So what was your thought of going there? What are you doing from there?
From over peeking the middle.
Right.
And
doesn't seem like that's working very well.
No, they weren't really shooting in the middle though. It was just the middle was getting shot by something else.
Frodo being there was preventing the enemy tanks from over peeking.
Right.
And now Ferret is looking to assist this friendly CS player in his 1v1 against the E50M. The E50M is a very difficult tank to 1v1 due to its incredibly high DPM with its ability. But the excellent shot there from Ferret gives our CS the upper hand in that brawl. And then now we're wondering what our IS-7 is doing, and we're looking for a shot on their IS-7. Let's take our time, make sure our shot connects. Beautiful.
Thank you. I try my best.
Because with a 15-second reload,
what are you
every
up to
shot
right
that
now?
we miss.
Well, I told you I was shooting the middle, but they eventually all gathered together.
Have you done any damage?
I have not.
Have you? I can see that you've taken some damage there.
Not really good at sniping 60 TP.
Okay. That's some good advice, guys. So if you're in your BZ, you have 3 cupolas. The 60 TP has 1. So if you're trading on a ridgeline with them, maybe not the best idea to cupola eagle them multiple times over and over again. But Frodo is a man of dedication and drive and passion, so he did it multiple times to bleed multiple shots of HP.
Well, we're playing low on the ridge, or Ferret's playing low on the ridge here. He could have potentially got a shot into the 60 TP as he pushed our 60 TP, but it doesn't matter because he gets a nice and fairly lucky shot into the IS-7. It's a The AI-7 is pretty strong armor. There's about a 50-50 pen roll at that angle. And it's very important that we make our shots connect in the 60p with a 15-second reload. So we're hoping that this IS-7 makes a mistake and gives us an easier shot, but he doesn't end up doing that. And then we're waiting for one of the enemy tanks to expose themselves. And we notice that if our BZ-75 backs up here, we can put a nice shot into the 60p. We have a shot here, but we're going to wait till we have a
Amazing.
high percentage shot, and we're going to take it and land it. And now we notice that Frodo is getting pushed over in the BZ. And Frodo gets
What
a nice
beautiful
shot.
by What a beautiful
He
shot.
An
actually
amazing
maximals that
roll as
shot.
well. Yeah.
And then he gets rammed and dies.
Frodo with some big contributions this game.
I think somebody else ended up.
So Frodo, what do you think went wrong in your position that game? Frodo?
I shouldn't be there. I should go south.
Well, that's a good evaluation. And why shouldn't you be there? Why should you be going south?
No point. We shouldn't even be middle with the two people we had.
I agree. I think in that situation, when you see the enemy team has control of the mid and the north,
Or
you
just
definitely want to be
south.
playing in a position where I can cover you a little bit more, or Hawk can
Yes.
cover you a little bit more, and that way
Well,
we can
I
trade
mean-
you out more effectively.
Oh, that's where I was. And then I got pushed.
And Hockey does a good job picking up the enemy 50B and the enemy IS-7.
You also did drop a very, very important plane that allowed me to pick up the CAX. So now
Mhm.
we're actually in a 1v2 and we're up HP here.
Gotta make sure all our shots pen. Which is
Beautiful
quite
shot.
very nice, very nice. And that Hockey guy unfortunately gets
Unlucky or
high rolled
lucky,
by
I
the
don't
enemy
think I should have been
IS-7.
leading anyways to try and-
Unfortunately,
Well,
our
lucky-
RHM
unlucky
has
for Huggy.
decided to die.
Well, I think he was trying to put a shot at the enemy IS-7 there, who just owned you.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, you
And
didn't.
make
so.
the enemy IS-7 a 2-shot. Unfortunately, the
Beautiful
RHM gun
kill.
had a bit of a moment, and the IS-7 gun hits that in high rolls, so. So now we're in a 1v1 situation versus an enemy IS-7 that has more HP than us. And
Oh, that's
that's a rough shot to bounce there. With the 60 TP, it's important. With our 15-second reload, it's important that we pen every shot that we get. So
I have to agree.
Yeah, that's a little unlucky there. Unfortunate that we didn't quite get the pen that we
But we're seeing some
were
great
hoping.
angling though. You know.
And so now we've got our enemy IS-7 in a face hug here, which is right where we want him because
Oh,
60
nice
is
bounce.
60 TP is a very hard tank to pen in the face hug.
Uh,
You get a very nice shot in
pen.
there.
I think an important thing you guys missed out on there is, you know, I zoomed out there to look around me and back up so you could have the angle down onto the I-7.
Oh.
Oh, we missed that. Okay, and then there we're gonna angle up or angle back because we
Angle
think
back,
that we have
yeah,
reload on the IS-7.
So he doesn't kill you.
But because we bounced our first shot on the IS-7, our Brothers in Arms ability wasn't as charged as we thought it was, so we actually didn't have reload on enemy IS-7, and we ended up losing that game, which is quite unfortunate to.
Yeah, this week it seems it's just the curse of the 60 TP is that it can't have 10,000 damage and
Yeah.
it can't win. It's just, you know, there's a lot of different contributing factors. You know, some suiciding RHM, some suiciding BZ, some other suiciding 60 TPs. But unfortunately, I'm unable to clutch up the game there.
That unfortunate bounce on the IS-7 was game changing. But that is all we have for this week. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that more people can see this video and join the Discord. And be sure to leave any feedback for this video in the comments or in the Discord. If you like what you see, let us know. But that is all for this week, and we will see you all in the next week.